As usual, I double click on Unity Hub. I go to projects. I remove the previous project. I click on new project. Then I select 3D built-in render pipeline, my project at desktop I am creating. You can see our my project is open. What I do here, I go to game object, 3D object, cube. I reset its position to 0, 0, 0, and I scale this in x-axis by 10 times, in the z-axis by 10 times, and then I duplicate this, Ctrl D, scale this back to 1 by 1 by 1, and then I move it little up here, place it on the left side, Ctrl D, duplicate, and place it on the right side, and then I save this scene, Ctrl S to save. So we have here sample scene, you can see that. I'm going to duplicate this few times, 1, 2, 3, 4, okay. So we are in the sample scene now, right. I select the main camera. So in the previous class, we started discussing the properties of main camera. We understood the clear flags. We understood that clear flags indicates what to display in the empty areas of this camera. What to display in the empty areas in this place. What to display. By default it is set to Skybox. So empty area is filled with the Skybox. If you want, you can have a solid color, and you can define what should be the solid color here. If you want, you can have Skybox. If you want, you can have solid color. So solid color is displayed in the empty areas. If you don't want to display anything in the empty areas, then you will choose depth only. So depth only is going to display nothing in this place. It's actually the transparent area. And then don't clear is not going to clear the previous frames actually. It keeps the previous frames also when you play. If I select the main camera, I go to rotation tool, and if I rotate, you'll see that it is not clearing the previous frames. So it is used to create some special effects actually. Don't clear. Now I go back to Skybox. You can see. Right. After that we understood the culling mask. We know that culling mask is used to decide which layer object should be rendered by this camera and which layer object should not be rendered by this camera. So for that, simply you create the layers. So I say here user layer 6 I say as layer 1, and this one I say LAYER layer 2, and this one I say layer 3. So I created 3 layers, and I can place these cubes. So cube I place in the layer 1, cube 1 I place in layer 2, cube 2 I place in layer 3. Now if I select the main camera and go to culling mask and say don't render the layer 1 objects, so you see that cube is not getting rendered, the floor is not getting rendered. And if I say don't show layer 2 objects, so this camera is not rendering the layer 2 objects. So you can decide in this place which layer object should be rendered by this camera in the culling mask. Now it is rendering everything because it is set to everything. Next, we understood the projection property. So projection indicates the depth, whether you want to have depth or not. So projection perspective means you feel the depth. That means if you have 2 objects of same size, so cube 1 and cube 2, they both are of same size. But if I move the cube 2 back, it looks smaller in size. And the near cube looks bigger in size. Why? Because of the projection set to perspective. In perspective, you feel the depth. Whereas if you change it to orthographic, you don't feel the depth. It looks like both cube 1 and cube 2 are in the same side by side actually, and they are of same size. So that is about the camera projection. Perspective we use for 3D. Orthographic we use to create 2D games actually. And then we understood the field of view, which is the angle of your camera. So if you want, you can modify this, which is used to show an effect of zoom in, zoom out, binocular effect. In this place we have discussed. If you change it to orthographic, you will get the size. So size is similar to field of view. You can see zoom in, zoom out. We have discussed about this already in the previous class. And also we have discussed about the near clip and far clip. So if you change far clip to 10, up to 10 meters, it renders. After that, it clips out. So as you move forward, the object starts popping up. You see that. So anything is within the camera's view frustum, it will be visible. Anything is outside the camera's view frustum, it will not be visible. So that's what the camera's field of view indicates actually. So I say here 50 and the far I say here 100. Okay. After that, we understood about the viewport rect. Viewport rect indicates on the viewport, means in this game view, where this camera should render. So I told you, I take here again the paint. So this is your game view. Consider this is the game view. This place is considered as x0, y0, and the width is 1, height is 1. So this place will have 1 and 1. And here x will be 0, height is 1 in this place. So here x will be 1, height will be 0, like this. Now the center is considered as 0.5 and 0.5, right? The half of 1 is 0.5, the half of 1 here is 0.5. Now if you want, you can display the camera only in this place. In the game view, the camera will get displayed here if you change the width to 0.5 and height to 0.5. So if I go here and select the main camera and say the width should be 0.5, see, now the camera is displayed in the half area. So height also I change 0.5. So now you see that it is getting displayed in this place. So that is what the viewport rect indicates. In this, on this screen, where this camera should get rendered. Like for example, if I have one more game object camera, okay, let's say this camera should take this half side, then I can say that this camera should start at half, means x should be 0.5, you see here, and the height should be 0.5. see, it is getting displayed beside here. So you can display multiple cameras. Like for example, if I go from this side, I create another camera, game object camera. Now this should get displayed in this place, where it should get displayed in this place. So what we have to do is we have to go up, that is x should be 0 in this place and y should be 0.5. So if I take this camera, x0, y 0.5, so it goes up, you see that it goes up, and the width I reduce to half, 0.5. see, I'm showing now 3 cameras. This is the camera, main camera, see, this is main camera, and this is our another camera. In this place I am rendering, and this camera 1 I am rendering in this place. So that is what viewport rect indicates, where the camera should be rendered. Are you understanding? So I select the main camera here, set the width back to 1 and height back to 1. So it's very, very important what this viewport rect indicates. Viewport rect indicates. Next, we have discussed about the depth also. So depth indicates which camera should render on top of which camera. So higher the depth, that camera is displayed on top. So camera with the larger depth is drawn on top of camera with the smaller depth. So let's say we have this camera. Let me say press FP to focus. I will see from the top view, and then I go to game object menu, create a camera. So now I am seeing from top. So this is a top view camera. Top view camera. Now top view camera is getting displayed on top of the main camera. Why? Main camera has depth -1 and top view camera has depth 0. So it will get display on top. Now let's say I want main camera should get display on top of the top view. Then I change the depth to 1. Now you see we are seeing through the main camera. So if I go to game object, align view to selected, you see now we are seeing the same view. We are seeing through the main camera now. You can see here. So depth 1 I have set. So main camera will get display on top of the top view. Now let's say I want top view. I want to see here, not the main camera. So simply I increase the depth of top view. Main camera has depth 1. I change the top view depth to 2. Now we are seeing through the top view camera. So if I go to game object, align view to selected, this is what we are seeing in this place. Right now, what if I want to display this camera, the top view camera, in this corner? So what I do, I simply say x should be 0.5. So it starts from half, and I say y also should be 0.5. See, now our top view camera is getting displayed in this place. It is getting in this place. 0.5 in x, 0.5 in y, right? This is the 0.5, 0.5, and the width 1 and the height 1. So this is the place where the camera is getting displayed. Now if you want to make this area transparent, if you want to make this empty area transparent, which is actually getting displayed by Skybox, you can simply change it to depth only. Now it displays nothing in this place. You can see that in the top view. So that is the use of clear flex. You can display Skybox. You can display a specific solid color if you want. You can display a solid color. If you don't want to display anything, you can say depth only. So like this, you can display one camera on top of another camera actually. Okay. Right. So we understood about the go to game object. Then I say align view to selected. Okay. Now I have a main camera. Next we understood the target texture also. So target texture indicates that we want to send the information of the camera into a texture. We want to send information, output of camera, to a texture, not to the screen. That's what the target texture indicates. So let's say I select this and press the F key to focus and see from top. I have a cube too. I zoom out. So what I do now, I place a camera here. I go to game object, camera. So this is top view camera. Top view camera I have. Now what I want, the top view camera is seeing this, right? It is seeing from the top. I don't want the top view camera to render on this game view to the screen. Instead of that, it should render the information or send the information to a texture. So we create a render texture. So I simply go to assets, create rendering. We create a render texture. So this is top, I say here T underscore top view. So this is the render texture. We select the camera and give the render texture here. Now what happens? Top view camera, instead of rendering on screen, it renders the information in the texture, in the top view texture. And then what we can do, we can go to game object menu, 3D object. Let's say I create a plane or something. I create a plane here, and then I am going to rotate it like this. Okay, I rotated it, you can see, and then I place it back, let's say here, and apply this top view texture to the plane. So you see that whatever the top view camera is seeing, the same thing you see on this plane actually. Let me rotate it little bit like this and take the top view, adjust as per my need. Let me adjust it. Right, you can see now we are seeing the information of top view camera on the plane. That means if I move game object, let's say cube 2, if I move, you see that information in this on the plane also. You see, you can see that, you can see that. So this one you can use to, if you want, you can use this for creating the mirror like effect also. Like if I take the plane and let me reset to 0, 0, 0, and then I am going to, let's say, rotate it like this, and then I am going to rotate it like this, let's say, move it back and press the V key, let's say hold the V key, place it here. Okay, and then take the top view. Let me take the top view, make it as the child of the plane, and reset its position, rotation, everything to 0, 0, 0. And then in the x-axis I am going to rotate it like this. Here I say minus 90. Let me press F key to focus. See, now here if I move this object, see, it's changing, right? It looks like a mirror actually. So what we can do is we can even scale it. Just a minute. Let me scale this opposite side. 1. In the x-axis I said minus 1, you see. Now exactly it moves, it simulates a mirror. Understanding now? Yeah, so that is about the render texture. I hope you clearly understood about the render texture in this class. Okay, so we understood the render texture. Let me go to scene 3 now. Okay. One more property we have here which we need to understand is the target display. So target display is used to set different displays actually to the camera. Now let's again go back, game object, camera I create here. Let me reset its position to 0, 0, 0 and rotate in x-axis by 90 degrees. Not in y-axis, sorry. In the x-axis by 90 degree, and I move it up and I place this camera in display 2. So now if I go to game view, you can see it is showing display 1, that is the main camera. If I switch to display 2, it displays this camera, that is the top view camera. TOP top view camera. So in this place you can see through camera 1, camera 2. So this is useful if you have a multiplayer game. So in the multiplayer game, there will be like 8 players playing in a game. Then each player can have his own camera. So display 1 for player 1, display 2 for player 2, display 3 for player 3. Like that, we can have multiple cameras and assign the different displays. Yes, good. Okay, next in this class again we are going to discuss about how do we change the skybox. You are asking many times how to change the skybox, right? So I create here a new folder called as textures. In the textures folder, I bring some textures I drag and drop. You can see I have some textures here: back, down, front, left, right, up. Like this I just created in Photoshop these textures. So if I have to change the skybox of this scene, I have to create a material. So I right click, create material. I call this as m_sky1, let's say. Okay, so first you import the textures. After importing the textures, you create a material. After creating the material, you should change the shader. So here you go to skybox, select the skybox, go to 6-sided. See, you get 6-sided shader here, and then you have to assign the textures. I give here front texture, I give here back texture, I give here left texture, and then I give here right texture, I give here up texture, and then I give here down texture. So that is going to create a skybox material for me. And then if you want to apply this material to whole scene, you go to window menu, go to rendering, go to lighting, and go to environment. In the environment you see skybox material. So in this place you select your skybox that you created actually. The skybox I created is m_sky1. So when I select this, you see that the sky of my scene is changed. Understanding? Right? So like this you can have the different textures and apply that to a 6-sided material actually. See, I have another texture, I drag and drop. I have this space texture, you see, this is a space texture. So what I can do, I can use this single texture and apply here. So drag and drop, apply to left, apply to right, apply to up, apply to down. See, the sky is changed. Are you understanding how to change the sky? So you can see here, if you go to window, go to rendering, go to lighting, go to environment. Here you can change the skybox material for the scene. So you can go here and choose, let's say I select the default skybox. So it shows the default skybox. If you want your own skybox, then what you have to do, once again I am explaining here, I delete all these things. First you bring the texture, drag and drop the texture. Then you create a material. I create a material. I call this as m_skybox1. After creating the material, you change the shader skybox 6-sided, and then you assign the respective texture. So I give the space texture here that I have. I assign to all sides. After that, what I do, I go to window, go to rendering, lighting, environment, and use m_skybox. That's it. That is how you can change the sky. That's how you can change the sky. So generally, if you go to Google and search for skybox texture, so you will get like this actually. Like this, you will get the texture actually. So you will get like this actually. So you have to cut them actually. You have to cut them, and you should give, this one is up, this one is down, this one is left, right, top, left, right, front and back. Like that, you can just cut them and use them in your material here. And if you want, you can change the exposure also, brightness. You can change the color tint if you want. See, if you want, you can change the skybox per camera also. If you want, you can change the skybox per camera. That means you can render one skybox in main camera. You can render one more skybox in top view camera, let's say. Okay, you can have different skybox for different camera. This camera displays the daytime skybox. This camera can display the nighttime skybox. Like that. How? If you select the main camera, add skybox component. In the skybox, if I select here the default skybox, okay, default skybox. So now the main camera is going to render the default skybox. So this is display 1, right? See, if I go here, I have selected here display 1. So I am seeing through the main camera. Okay, now if I go to top view, add skybox component and choose my camera, my skybox. So if I change to display 2, I have same scene, but skybox is different. So if I change display 1, it is displaying the default skybox, and if I change to display 2, my top view camera has display 2. I am seeing to the top view camera now. Now skybox is different, you see here. This is my skybox 1, it is showing. You can have different skybox. Main camera is rendering default skybox. Top view camera is rendering the my skybox 1. Okay, you can have different skybox per camera. If you want to the whole scene, if you want, then you go to window, rendering, lighting, environment, and decide the skybox. So this is for whole scene. This is for component is per camera. Per camera, you can decide the skybox. So now I'll go to the scene 4, save it. Yeah. And one more doubt you had, let me clear that one. So here, let me delete this, go to game object, 3D object, I create a plane, right click, create a material, m_floor, and this floor I make it metallic and smooth. Apply this to floor and let me make it black. Okay, you got a floor. And then I right click, create material, m_red. I change this to red color, apply it to this and this. And then what I do, I scale this up. So I scale this up like this. Now what I want is, I want reflections. I want to see the reflections on this plane. Okay, if you want to get reflections, you need to take help of the post processing. Okay, so I go to Window, Package Management, Package Manager, Unity Registry. I search for post processing and install. So I have installed the post processing package. Now I select the main camera. I go to add layer. I'm going to add a layer called as post processing, PROCESSING, post processing. Select the main camera, put it inside post processing layer, and then I add the post process layer component on this. And here layer I select post processing, and then I can have anti-aliasing if I want FXAA like this. Okay, now post process layer is ready. Next we add a post process volume. So I go to game object, 3D object, post process volume. After adding post process volume, I say is global. I put this also in post processing layer, and then I create a new profile. After creating new profile, I go to add effect, Unity. There's a screen space reflections. Screen space reflections. You should select this one. So screen space reflections, it is clearly telling that this effect only works with the deferred rendering path. You should choose deferred rendering on main camera. So if you go to main camera, there is rendering path. You have to select here deferred. So when you select deferred, you start seeing the reflections. So now you are creating that project, right? The city. You want reflection. This is how you will get the reflection actually. In the post process volume, add the screen space reflection effect, and main camera you change the rendering path to deferred. And then you see you can decide the quality of reflection here. So quality, if you say ultra, you get more quality, better quality reflections. See here, better quality reflections. Ultra, overkill, still more better quality reflection will get. Okay, and here you can decide what quality reflection you want, and also you can decide the distance fade. So here you get more or less fading. You see more sharp edges you are getting here, more sharp reflections. You can adjust here. Vignette, if you don't want, you can remove or add. So you'll get the darkness in the scene, in the reflections. You can add or remove. So that is how you will get reflections, right? You had this doubt, so I am just clearing how you can get reflections. Yeah, try this and make sure your floor material should have smoothness 1. If no smoothness, you don't get the reflections, you see. Okay now? Yeah, so that is about how do you get reflections, yeah, in your scene using the post process effect. Yeah, right. So for today we'll stop here. We have discussed about the main camera, all the necessary properties, rendering path and all, and we have discussed about the reflections and how we can change the skybox and all. So try this after the class. Make sure you try. We'll discuss more and more about Unity in depth, step by step with demo. So make sure you practice well, implement them in your projects. Okay, we'll meet in the next class then. Bye bye.